emergency exits. You got it.
He's got it.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I know that keeps getting moved around.
I'm good with that.
Good evening, everyone. The 544th meeting of the Planning Board of the Village of Depew will come to order. We have a roll call, please.
Member Adolph.
Here.
Member Fedorovich.
Here.
Member Morawski.
Here.
Member Matuzak.
Here.
And Chairman Maciejewski.
Here. Could everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notification of emergency exits.
The emergency exits are located to my left as well as the rear of the room. In the event of an alarm or emergency, please move in an orderly fashion to the exits and evacuate the building.
Thank you. We have two items on the agenda tonight. The first one will be for the property located at 31 Domino Court. Could we have the legal notice, please?
Please take notice that the Village of Depew Planning Board will hold a hearing on Thursday, November 4th, 2021 at 7 p.m. A pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the OEM office conference room in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York. All social distancing and mask requirements will be followed. To consider the application for submission by Deborah Moreno for property located at 31 Domino Court, the following matters to be reviewed. They are requesting the following: to amend approval from the January 2nd, 2020 Planning Board meeting for the subdivision of the parcel at 31 Domino Court to include the existing structure as per Chapter 260, subset 260-10C. Any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
Okay, is there anybody here representing this property? If you are, come forward, state your name for the record and your relationship to the property.
I also have a realtor that's running a little late, who has all paperwork,
Okay,
so
What if we go out of agenda to the other one next? You can do that if you want.
all right. We'll take the other one for 30 Humboldt. Can we have the legal notice for that one, please?
Oh, one moment. Please take notice that the Village of Depew Planning Board will hold a hearing on Thursday, November 4th, 2021 at 7 p.m. A pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the OEM office conference room in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York. All social distancing and mask requirements will be followed. To consider the application for submission by John Connors on behalf of Connors Enterprises for property located at 30 Humboldt Place. The following matters to be reviewed. They are requesting the following: seeking approval to subdivide existing lots to create a conforming single-family residential parcel and to expand parcel with an existing paved lot as per Chapter 260, subset 260-10C. Any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
Okay, so who is here representing this project? If you could come forward, please. State your name for the record and relationship to the project, please. You can come right up to the podium, please.
Not the best public speaker. I'd rather have my sister-in-law speak with you guys. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Just your name, please, sir. For the
John
record.
Connors.
Okay.
Okay. Your name too, please.
Eileen Connors.
And Lynn Connors. John is the executor for the state of Russell Connors. The property is, we're requesting a land separation so the properties may be sold, and the other properties that belong to Connors Enterprises are going to be sold as well.
Okay. So for the property that's located where the house is at 30.
30 Humboldt.
Okay.
Right.
to make that a conforming lot, obviously it's going to have to be widened, which you are showing to the 60-foot width.
Correct.
Right.
120-foot depth. The one issue that we have is part of that paved parking lot is going to be on that 60-foot.
Okay.
We are going to require that blacktop be removed and grass put in.
Okay. And would that be before it can be granted, or can the separation be granted before that's done?
I believe we can do that, Sam, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, the approval can be granted, but before the deeds are transferred.
Okay.
Okay, before you sell them and to the,
Okay, because
The
this
new
is the
owners.
only thing that we need to do, Jack, because we have buyers for both,
yeah.
so.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, and that's good that you just mentioned that, because for basically the first subdivision of the 60 by 125 for the 30 Humboldt where the house is, that would probably be the only requirement about removing that blacktop,
Okay.
putting the green space back. The next lot, you said you have an owner or a buyer.
A potential buyer, yes.
Can you tell us who it is, or is it still in litigation, or?
Well, we're just waiting for this. We have one person that's buying that house and two other properties that are my brother-in-law owned. And he's Joshua James. So,
What is the intention for that property where the parking lot is now?
oh, the parking lot?
That's gonna be sold.
That's being sold as well.
Okay.
He didn't want the parking lot, someone else wants the parking lot.
Okay. And what is the intention of that buyer of that parking lot, potential buyer?
Not sure. The potential buyer is Tom Nietzsche.
No, not Nietzsche.
Nietzsche, no, not Nietzsche.
He's the owner of Broadway Collision.
Broadway Collision?
Yeah.
So he's looking at making that one parcel probably.
I'm not sure exactly what his intention
Yeah,
of,
he just,
what his intentions are.
yeah.
Because initially he was considering purchasing Humboldt and the parking lot. And then he backed out of the residence.
Okay. Okay, so depending on what, just for your sake, so you know, depending on what his plans are, and again, if that's going to be joined as one parcel, he's going to have to come before us. Also for permits for what he intends to use that for, so.
Okay.
But for dividing the parcels itself, at this point, the property at 30, again, where the structure is right now, the residential structure, that'll, blacktop will have to be put back to the green space that originally was probably
Okay,
there.
and that's not an issue.
Questions from the board?
No, I think we went over everything.
Legal, Sam?
Nothing for me.
Code enforcement?
Yeah, it's just a matter of as long as notification is given to the potential purchaser of that lot, that he will be required to come in and file for the proper permits.
It's a vacant lot.
Yes,
Oh,
the
okay.
parking lot,
Okay.
the paved lot. And we're gonna leave it up to you to notify him that he's required to come and get his proper approvals for the use of that lot.
Okay, and we can go through the Realtor who's doing everything to notify him, because we're not really in touch with,
Yeah, technically,
The
I can't
buyers.
send him a letter about this lot because he's not the legal owner, okay?
yeah,
So we're basically notifying you to make sure that in the transaction,
yes,
that he's notified
okay,
to acquire the proper permits
so,
for the use.
so we could actually just have our lawyer notify his lawyer
Correct,
and do it
right.
that way? That's
Yeah,
fine? Okay.
that'll work, right?
Who's using that property now, the lot? Because there's stuff in there now.
It's empty right now. It was being used for the pub
It's occasionally being used
by the
by,
collision.
Occasionally
By the
today,
collision.
this afternoon was
Right.
full,
Was
okay.
it? Okay.
full.
Yeah, because we're out
Get
in
another
Pembroke.
vehicle in there. That's
We're-
why we're inquiring about what's the future plans for this?
Yeah,
Because obviously
I
it's being,
believe-
it's being used by somebody right now.
Right.
so.
okay.
Right,
yeah,
right now, it is being used by the repair shop that's on Broadway.
Okay. And our plan is just to sell it. Close it out.
And it has no bearing on anything here, but it's just a curiosity question. The bar has been sold to?
It's in
Yes,
process.
yeah.
It's in process as well.
Yeah.
The owner's intention at this point in time is office space. So it wouldn't require the additional parking lot. And my brother had subsequently picked up 4715. So if he did require more parking, that potential buyer could go further back with the existing parking lot of
699.
99.
Like I said, it has no bearing on it. It was just a
Yeah.
curiosity question, just because I remember that as the original Eagles Club many, many years ago.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I
Wow.
ran into a gentleman that said it was a designated fallout shelter in the basement.
Oh,
Wow. Nothing from Cammie? Any public concerns or comments? With that, a motion is in order.
I, Member Adolph, make the motion to make a recommendation to the village board to accept the plans as submitted with the following stipulations. 1, blacktop be removed for the 60 by 125 foot parcel with the house on it and put in grass or green space. And 2, notification given to the purchaser of the parking lot parcel that they will have to come before Depew and gain the proper permits.
Is there a
I, Member Matuzak, second that motion.
Okay, on a motion by Member Adolph, seconded by Member Matuzak to accept the plan as submitted with the stipulations as stated. We have a roll call vote, please.
Member Adolph.
Yes.
Member Fedorovich.
Yes.
Member Matuzak.
Yes.
Member Morowski.
Yes.
And Chairman Maciejewski.
Yes, 5-4, motion's carried. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, do we have our representation for the 31 Domino Court?
Someone's here. I believe so, Chairman Maciejewski. I am David Moreno. I'm Deborah's cousin. I was just here to assist her. It looks like we do have.
Okay, so if you want to come forward, and again, for the record, state your name and your relationship to the project, please.
Deborah Moreno, and I'm the owner. Go ahead.
David Moreno, cousin, and just offering assistance to my cousin.
I'm the real estate agent, Kevin Kazuda, who sold the property.
Before we get started, I just want everyone to know Dave and I work together in Amherst and still work together with his consulting basis there. I don't envision any conflict of interest. Do you guys want me to recuse myself?
No.
No issue, no.
Does anyone on the board want me to recuse myself?
No.
No.
Okay, great.
And I apologize, Sam, I got a call about an hour ago, so I would.
That's a,
Did you at the time?
well, no, the check didn't clear. No, I'm just kidding.
It's
I'm
recorded.
just kidding, completely just
Oh,
kidding.
boy.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay, Ms. Moran, could you explain what your intentions are?
Wow. Well,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind. Okay. So originally what happened is Deborah has a house that's attached to a large structure, a garage basically, and she has a side lot. Originally, I think back in January, we came to the office and we booked to the group, and we were subdividing that land, basically, and we had to stay 50 feet away from the structure in order for that to be a legitimate lot, which we actually got permission to do. And our intention originally was to do is to keep the ranch, keep the garage, and just basically sell the lot, because the lot was deemed to be a viable building lot, where somebody had to stay 50 feet away from the structure. So just before we put the sign on the ground, I got a call from a realtor that saw the old listing in the system, what we originally were trying to do before we got permission to do it. And we shut it down because at that point in time, her husband was still inhabiting the garage. He had gear inside of it. And he didn't want anybody seeing what he had inside of it because he was afraid somebody would steal it from him. So the agent called me and said, hey, we would like to buy the additional lot and buy the garage, and we're gonna build a house. We're like, okay, came up with a price, everything was fine, and we proceeded to sell the property normally. Thinking of the fact that we had 50 feet of frontage away from the building, it was a legitimate building lot anyway. There were gonna be 2 SBL numbers, one for the new owner, one for for Depper's house, which would basically be there. And before, there would have been 2 SBL numbers as well, because she was keeping the garage, and there would have been a ranch in that area. We didn't actually foresee it to be a conflict of interest at that point in time. So what we basically did was, purely, we just didn't know that we had to come before you guys and re-subdivide it again.
And I heard that we had got a variance on the garage way back when my husband was in there. And I was told that it was null and void once he leaves. So we all assumed that, and then our buyer, when you found your lawyer found the glitch in that. So then I said, okay, so we waited, and supposedly we thought the lawyers had a check. Then my lawyer called me and said, oh, everything's set, it's all set. Your lawyer called you, right, and told you we were set.
For the record, I think.
At that point, we were.
I'm sorry to interrupt. For the record, I think he should come up here and
Oh, go
say
ahead.
who he is.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Timothy Muller.
Can you spell that for me, please?
Mullar.
You are the prospective buyer of the property? Thank you.
I just offer just some information too. Unfortunately, as this happens quite often, when the deed was sent down to the county, because the county doesn't check with the local municipalities, the county approved the split, approved the new deed description, and filed everything. Unfortunately, the issue is with the auxiliary structure. At the end of the day, they will have a house there. Their plan is to break ground certainly after the first of the year, and they'll have a house along with the garage, and it'll fit the appropriate, guidelines of having an auxiliary structure attached to a property.
So, excuse me, at that point, when we found out that glitch with what was if you guys can come up and. Sure. Okay, so then it just got confusing, and then our lawyer said it was all taken care of. We assumed it was taken care of, and then they came for permits or something, and then Tony said that it's not. Then we were just like, what's happening?
Well, again, obviously you were here in January 2nd of 2020, almost 2 years ago already, and you knew what was approved back then with that accessory structure. So if anything changed, you knew you had to come back here, which you're here. The other problem is with the 31 Domino Court property. Because of the way the property was divided, 31 Domino Court is now a non-conforming lot because of the lot size. And I believe that, Tony, was sent out.
Yeah, the minimum lot size for single family is 60 by 110, 6,600 square feet. Okay. Now, as far as your statement, Kevin, previously, where you were granted the approval to parcel off the 2 lots in January 2020, you were not granted that approval. Here's the minutes. Everybody's got copies of the minutes too. It was specifically stated then that the pole barn had to stay with the house, and if it was ever sold, the house and the pole barn, that special use permit would disappear for the commercial use, okay? That was not to be removed from the house property, specifically for that reason, all right? The issue that's created here today is the remaining lot for 31 Domino now. It's not big enough. It's only 58 feet wide by 100 feet deep. That's 5,800 square feet. Automatically, for them to give the approval to amend the previous subdivision, you're gonna have to go to ZBA.
Well, can I, hang on, let me talk real quick here about this, and then 31 Domino Court always, from its inception of being built in 1960, was a dedicated single SBL.
Right, and that was including the property that fronted on Ream Road.
But it was always a separate parcel.
Right.
Those are two
One
separate.
parcel.
Now, if you go back, Anthony, the 31 Domino Court was a separate parcel.
If you look at the GIS mapping and the SBL number description, it included the Domino frontage with the footage all the way to Ream Road, and that's why the Ream Road parcel never received its own SBL.
So let me just
It
clarify.
received its SBL, matter of fact, this past week when the tax assessor in the town of Lancaster got the parcel split from the county.
Correct.
All right, that, it was just assigned. Matter of fact, she just sent it to me this morning, okay? Because she was questioning the fact about tonight's meeting, because I put a heads up on her for the new owner to even start the process for building permits. I need an SBL number, okay? I don't have a parcel created in my computer program yet. Doesn't exist.
So
At
let's
that time.
let's step back then. So at this point, regarding the split of the parcel, what you're saying is the split that was filed with the county now makes 31 Domino non-conforming.
But per Chapter 260, subset 260-10C, any subdivision of lands must be approved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Depew. And it does specifically state it shall not create a non-conforming.
And how many feet do you need to make a conforming parcel?
What's that? Say
How
that
many
again?
feet do you need to make it a conforming parcel? Because I'm sure there's
Basically,
many
you need 6,600 square feet. Your minimum dimensions are 60 foot wide by 110 depth.
So by 2 feet, and you said how deep is the lot?
By 800 square feet, you're short. 6,600 square feet is your minimum size. You've only got 5,800.
There are plenty of houses in the village of Depew that are 30 by like 120.
Yeah, that were built in 1922.
And this was built in 1966.
But
That's
if
irrelevant.
excuse me, if you just
That's irrelevant.
heard what he said, when you're subdividing parcels, it has to meet the minimum.
So what I'm hearing then is then even though, and again, I don't know when it was built in 1960, when the parcel was built. When it was built in 1960, even if this was the original footprint, with the subsequent merging of the parcels and then the split, the village code requires 6,600 square feet.
Correct.
So let me ask you this question then. So let's go back to square one, as it existed as one parcel. What you're recommending is that, first of all, we got to resize 31 Domino to make sure we meet the 6,600. And then if we do that, can we then still have one parcel where it includes the vacant land and the garage? Would that be acceptable,
Well,
Tony?
it won't work only because of the setbacks from the existing building to the property line.
So the setbacks of the revised property line for 31 Domino would be too tight to the garage?
The Ream Road property. So if you take this lot line and you moved it back towards the pole barn, now you're creating the non-conforming with the building on the new lot. And this is why I'm saying, if this amendment to your subdivision from 2020 is granted, you're gonna have to go to Zoning Board of Appeals to get the variance to make sure that 31 Domino has the relief from
Via
the
something.
minimum
ZBA.
sizing of
Okay.
the lot. Okay? We gotta dot the i's and cross.
No, I understand what you're saying. So we need relief from the ZBA on 31 Domino. Now, should that be done prior to the planning board making a decision on this?
Well, the planning board only makes the recommendation.
I mean, the recommendation to the village
Board
board.
of Trustees.
But should we see the ZBA prior and get that approval and then come back to this board?
If they grant you the positive recommendation, then you should be able to breeze through ZBA.
Okay.
Okay, this is the
That's
steps.
probably going to be one of the stipulations.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. I
But
didn't
you,
know something
Dave, you
happened.
And
Thank
next
you, Tony.
Dave, you understand that now, right? I mean, I know you've been in this business a long
100%,
time.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I came in off the bench. So,
Plus, you grew up across the street, so.
yeah, listen, my daughter's in that house now. Hopefully she doesn't find somewhere where we used to stash the liquor in the basement. But okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Right, and again, let me just repeat, I just want to make sure the steps are followed
Oh, sure.
Further down the road, somebody can't come back and say, hey, what the
No,
hell are you
makes
doing?
all sense. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
As far as the sale, whether or not they could force you to give back the land and give back, I don't know if that's even legal. But it's a matter of let's get this stuff straight and make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay. Prospective property buyers, your intention for that existing accessory structure.
Just a garage. Store cars, snow blower, that's it.
Okay. So you do understand you cannot use that for commercial use?
Nope, don't want to.
Okay, very good, very good. And what are you planning on building on that lot?
Ranch house.
A ranch?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board? Legal, Sam?
Nothing from me. You know, there was a lot of concern because planning board granted one thing and something else was done. And, you know, while we understand the county doesn't check with the local municipalities, there was some frustration here that you were both here, you heard what was said, and then something different was done. We understand misunderstandings happen, but, you know, that
It was
was.
all confusing, and then when I got the thing from the county that said everything was all set,
Yeah.
everything through, you're fine. And then when someone got the glitch, they got back to us and said, oh, we took care of it, everything's fine, so we all assumed it was fine.
Mhm.
And then we found out that it wasn't fine. So I never even thought, like he said, you have to come back and have all that, the minutes and stuff, and I just, when the lawyer said it was fine, I just assumed we didn't have to, I think we all did.
Yeah,
That's
you-
why, I mean, the realtor,
Because even if you did
buyers,
this
the
first
lawyers,
twice,
their lawyer, our lawyer,
That's
their
the-
realtor.
That's the thing, you can't trust lawyers. All right, that's it.
Well, and I get that, but that's why you hire them, because supposedly they know what they're doing.
It's a confusing process.
So we just got all.
It really,
what was
again,
happening.
as soon as we received the deed transfer in my office from Erie County, right away, I sent you your letter, I sent them a letter, and I actually called the
Yeah,
attorney
and-
that was recorded, simply because the dimensions that were recorded on the deed transfer didn't match what we had on the maps.
And that's the first thing I knew something was wrong, because I got something from Erie County that said septic, had everything. I got the call from the lawyer, you're all set, okay, and then I got the notes from you, I'm
Right.
like, oh, for the love of God.
But
what's happening? So-
code enforcement does have a couple questions on
Yes.
the remainder, okay? The sidewalk that attaches 31 Domino to the Ream Road property, that's going to be removed?
What is it?
The sidewalk that runs from the building. This-
Sidewalk a little.
It's on the survey right here.
If it has to be, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever it has to do, it's fine.
Obviously, if they're going to be two separate parcels, you
And
don't
that's
need a
fine.
sidewalk that
Yeah,
connects.
that's fine.
was to build a
Okay.
fence actually in front of that.
Okay. Second question. The parcel that you bought, that's one chunk of land, right? Okay, so there's one deed description. If you decide to break off a piece and sell it out, then you have to come back and get that approval, okay? The third question is gonna be, and probably when we deal with your construction, but I want it on the stipulation here, the stone parking lot area from the previous use to be restored to grass. All right, obviously, you'll be able to put a driveway to the doors, but the stuff that separates you from the building to the west, restore that to grass.
Even if it is blacktop or concrete, I can't have more driveway. I can only have a straight line.
Well, that's gonna be up to them at this point.
Okay.
All right, I'm requesting that it be restored to grass.
I think, if you want to look at this, I think, Tony, you're talking about this area right here, between the existing building and Majestic.
Right.
Between, not in front of the garage door, where I think you can have a driveway.
Oh, yeah, you,
Garage door.
from
Yeah,
there
yeah,
to
please.
the east,
Oh,
based on the house.
What he's talking about is
that
this area right here.
Understood.
To the west of the
And
garage.
this is stone.
Okay. So,
This would be all,
so just so you know, there is indeed a garage door here and a
Right.
garage door right here facing out. So that's why I was wanting to also blacktop this.
he does. Tony, yeah, you want to come up?
As that. There is indeed a garage door here.
He's got a
There's
garage
also
door
a
here.
garage door right there facing that way.
Well, and again, right now, I'm dealing with these people to get their drainage retention basins and stuff set according to what was approved back in 2014. Because all of this additional hard surface is creating the drainage problem for the neighbor on this side. Okay? So, and that's why if we can get some grass in there to break up some of that flow, because the way they designed this retention area that was supposed to be behind their big warehouse was only supposed to collect their roof, not pavement from next door. All right. Yeah, like I said, as far as that door, to me it means nothing. You've got doors on the front. If you're going to build your house over here or wherever, you can have a little bit of pavement over here to the house garage. There's a lot of different ways to achieve that. I'm requesting that area be restored to grass.
So you're talking like this here too, Tony, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, obviously if there's a man door there, put a little sidewalk that goes to the man door.
The man door is in the very back.
And put a sidewalk. What I'm trying to avoid is vehicles being parked over here.
Understood. So vehicles won't be parked there because there's a door there, but even if it's blacktop, even if it's, that you still don't want that.
I'm
that is
requesting it
correct.
be restored to grass.
Understood. Okay.
Because of drainage?
Yes.
Because we are going to put more French drains in
Yeah.
as part of the building.
What was that?
The plan is,
French drains, like to,
Well, if you're going to propose any type of drainage, it'll be part of your grading plan for the house. If you don't understand what a French drain is, seek advice from a design professional. Okay?
yeah.
And then that might trigger state environmental quality review if we're dealing with storm.
Based on the size of the lot. Okay, so, but like I said, when you propose a new build or a house here, you're going to have to provide a grading plan anyways.
Yeah.
So,
We'll see you again. It'll be fun.
well, being a residential, they won't be coming.
Yeah, it won't be coming.
All right.
Oh,
That'll come straight through my office, but part of a new build on a basically undeveloped lot is going to be grading plan.
Yeah.
So you understand that? Okay.
so we wouldn't be able to use that.
no, we cannot use the garage door on the side. We could only use it on the front unless we wanted to rip up grass. That would be the only way we could use it to get around.
But it has to always be grass.
Yes, has to always be grass. So to use it, we would take the car off of the driveway and go on the grass if we were to use it.
Okay.
Tony, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Nothing from Cammie, right?
No, she had nothing.
Okay. Any public concerns or comments? At this point, a motion would be in order.
I remember Morowski suggest, you guys are going to the zoning board.
That's going to be one of the stipulations, Bob.
One of the stipulations. And the second stipulation is you guys are gonna have to go to, follow all Tony's suggestions, stipulations. And no business, no commercial business out of the garage, it's only storage only. And stone parking lot, the area, the sidewalk gotta be removed and stone the parking lot, return it back to grass.
Now, you said suggest, are you making a formal motion to grant the application with these stipulations, or?
Yes.
Use that?
Okay. I remember Morowski make a motion to make the recommendations to the village board, accept the site plans as submitted with the following stipulations that I already mentioned.
And then, just a caveat, when you said anything, Mr. Fiscione suggests, is that limited to what he put on the record tonight?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I gotta pipe up. I can't hold my breath. I need to, because they purchased the property knowing in their minds that they would have the side garage door, I think. And they seemed very hesitant to that. Is there any way that with the grading plan that they lay out as it's a new build and they figure it out, that they would be able to somehow use a combination of maybe a small blacktop combination grass, if they designed it out correctly.
Give it a minimum setback from the west property line.
Oh, one thing I just remembered to tell out, there is a drain, right in that back corner, right by the gravel. So like if water is running
Right.
down to it, there is a drain right there.
Where the drain goes to, I have no idea.
It's the storm.
Does it go to Domino Court? It's a matter of when this was all done years ago. The owner of that property was also the owner of this property. Now, whether Ms. Moreno decides to stay in that property or sell it to somebody else, it could create a problem later, okay? I'm trying to prevent an issue in the future, all right? And here's the point. Give it a minimum setback from the west line on the residential property, 5 feet, 10 feet, whatever you want to give them. There needs to be grass separating this property from the next property.
Right, so it looks like it's like, the number's faded, but even if I go, it's 28 feet. If that's correct, then, 5, 10 foot, they would still be able to get, right, yeah, it's a little faded, but.
Yeah, it's hard to read that.
No, I'm talking about their ability to have,
The domino.
So you're suggesting cut it basically in half?
yeah, because
So this
so
would
they
be
can
grass?
still pull into the garage, right?
Guys, please, thank you. Olivia Muller, thank you. Sorry.
When they purchased this property, they obviously had intention to use the side garage, and so I just want, I don't want them to be boxed into this because of, previous decisions that were made and us holding them to the standard that we set because we make a recommendation that they're not fully on board with. And then we run into a problem down the road because they were boxed into this decision. It looks like there might be an ability for them to have slight, divide that 28, up where they would still.
With an 8-foot setback that you had suggested, they would end up with about 20 feet of stone next to their building.
Right, if they had planned to pave it in the future is what they said.
My point is, if you give them a setback for the existing building, all right?
Enough to get a snow blower out or something.
It's just a matter of we need to restore some grass there.
Right.
Okay.
I just don't think we should take away the full ability, and that's my 2 cents, and everyone can.
Well, what if we say we want it to be a stone driveway and not paved? Does that help the drain off?
What is going to be the separation between the residential and the commercial property then?
The 10 foot of grass. And then your stone driveway.
Oh, well, yeah, as long as the stone doesn't migrate into the public way, I really don't care what the surface is. I'd like to see some grass there.
Okay.
It's
Tony,
for your stormwater protection.
Green space, yes, green space.
I was gonna actually do that anyway, so.
Tony,
That's good.
suggestion, 10 feet.
That's fine.
Bob, would you,
I think with the property actually is, there should be plenty of room for them to have that stone driveway or whatever, and grass, because the pool place puts a lot of their stuff over on our side anyway. But because I remember it up by the side of their.
A lot of the millings that are on this property were pushed over from the new building for Majestic Pools. At that time, okay, and that's when the commercial use for your pole barn came into play, and you had to come for a special use permit because of the inter-cooperation between your ex-husband and Majestic Pools, bringing in more millings, all right? If you look at the satellite photos, I can go and print them up if you want.
Because the barn was built way before.
Yes, but the millings were not there until,
No, but because there was
building was
actually a set of trees that went down,
Right.
kind of dividing Majestic Pools and our place.
Right.
And then the big lot where their building is now. And then I came home one day and the trees were gone and and I was like, what happened?
We'd love to put them back.
if you look at it right now, it looks like this area, the stone driveway area, is part of.
Part of Majestic, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
The point is, we need to separate the residential property from that commercial property.
Yes.
It will also help with your stormwater protection requirements in your code, okay?
So, Bob, would you amend your motion to include a minimum of the 10-foot green space, the length of the property from Ream Road to the back property line?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Please.
okay. You guys good with that?
Yes, thank you so much.
So
Tony,
just let
you
the
okay?
record,
Yeah, can
let
we
the
just
record
clarify?
reflect Mr. Borowski amended his motion.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember David Fedowitz second his.
Okay, on a motion by Member Morowski, seconded by Member Fedorovich to accept the submittal with the stipulations stated, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Adolph,
Yes.
Member Fedorovich,
Yes.
Member Matuzek,
No.
Member Morowski,
Yes.
and Chairman Maciejewski.
Yes. 4, 1 against, motion's carried. Good luck to everybody. Good luck with the zoning.
Don't take off just yet, okay?
Well, hang on, because we're still on the record. Let's adjourn, shut down the
As far
recording
as
software, and then we'll.
getting into the zoning, Tony can get you set
Yeah,
up with
I'll
that.
guide you guys through that part, but I need to talk to them. Let's close the hearing
Yes.
first and.
Okay, this,
I, Member Matuzak, make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I remember David Fedowitz second that motion.
a motion by Member Matuzak, seconded by Member Fedorovich. We'll adjourn the meeting at 19:43. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
We're still live broadcasting. Let Regina turn off the cameras.
I want to thank the board for their consideration.